I was born and raised on the north side of Chicago in the Lakeview neighborhood. I went to school at Hawthorne and I went to high school at Lakeview. And in the late 60s, I would say about 1969, I dropped out of school and I was hanging around an area in Lakeview, and I met a lot of people from Rising Up Angry and from other organizations that were living in the area, and just met a lot of people, and they talked about what they were doing, and um, I got involved in different projects that they were doing. I helped sell some newspapers. I was involved in some um, things with the farm workers, and I helped with dance classes at Dwight Prison for the women there who wanted to take dance classes. We did that. I volunteered on Wednesday nights at the People's Free Health Clinic at a church on Diversity in Wilton. There's so many things. I really like that because that's probably was one of my favorite things to do in the Rising of Angry organization was the health thing. It was a lot of medical students, a lot of doctors, nurses, lab technicians, you name it, who volunteered at this church, and anybody from the, and you didn't have to just be from that community. Anywhere you could come and get free medical care. And I availed myself of it, and my family was able to avail themselves of some medical care. And one thing that it really taught me was to be an advocate, like now that I'm getting older, and having health issues is how to like deal with the medical profession, and it's how to advocate for my health care, and like go along with other people who need to go see doctors or go to appointments if they feel like they need somebody to advocate for them. So I feel like that's been really instrumental in. And then I just learned a lot about just health and eating healthy and taking care of myself and just so many different things.
You said something last time about the legal program.
The legal program, yeah, there was a people's law office, but I don't think that was a first group for some reason. This guy's name was Glenn. There was a lawyer that, so there was a group of lawyers that were,
Glenn Gacci?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
So he provided free legal for my brother when he had some problems as a teenager. So my family was really blessed to have that help back in the day.
Was that through Rising Up Angry?
Yes, yeah,
Through our legal program.
from your legal program. But is that the same one that Mark and Candy and them?
Yes.
That was the same office?
Yeah, Mark was kind of like our major lawyer.
Right, okay.
And he got a lot of other lawyers involved with
Right,
us.
yeah, I remember that.
You'll be able to see his interview.
Okay, cool.
Not now.
Well, she sent me one with Al's, but I wasn't able to pull it up.
So Sharon, what did you like about what Rising Up Angry was saying? What made sense to you that you wanted to kind of get involved?
Well, I grew up in a house that I think the only subject you were allowed to talk about was sports. We didn't talk about religion. We didn't talk about race issues. We didn't talk about anything. But I remember like watching TV and watching the riots and watching all the stuff going back in the day, and like wondering what the heck was going on in this world, and like not having anybody to talk to in my family, to go out and meet people who were like concerned about like the Native Americans and the farm workers, and racial issues and all the things that like offering free lunch and breakfast programs and medical programs and legal programs. There was just so many things that one could like get involved in, and it's just like like somebody was like, oh yeah, like somebody knew what was going on and was working to change it. And it wasn't like people just talking about it and talking, but people who are actually out there working. And the same people that I met all those years ago, 50 years ago or more, are still doing the work to this day. It's like one thing I absolutely admire and respect about Rising Up Angry and the people that I've met over the years that have been involved with them. And I've met so many people. It's been so incredible. I would never, not the kind of people that I've met over the years that I would have never been exposed to them. So it's just like, it kind of felt like it gave me a voice. Like,
Sounds like you're still out
Well-
there working too, if you're advocating for your friends for
well, I
healthcare,
try to
et
do
cetera.
that, and like right now, I volunteer at my granddaughter's school. I'm still 45 years in the same school. I don't have kids there anymore, but now my grandchild, so I'm very active in the school still. So I'm not very active in much of anything else, but
I'd be real interested to hear what the neighborhood was like, because I grew up in Lakeview too, but
it's
20
insane.
years before you did, or 10 years before you did.
So when you were
When I
growing
grew up in-
what was it like?
It was a working class neighborhood. Like my father was a factory worker, my mom was a secretary. I had 3 brothers and a sister, and we were just regular folks, you know. And the neighborhood was just pleasant. You could run around the neighborhood. You could go out. You went out and when your parents chased you out of the house during the day, and you could be gone until dinner time, or you came home and did your homework. You left after dinner, and you came out when the street lights came on, and your parents didn't know where you were. We didn't have cell phones or what we were doing or anything. But like now, it's like you can't even, like, I couldn't afford to live in this neighborhood. They've like totally like the makeup of the neighborhood is like probably because of the time predominantly always white with some Hispanic thrown in. And I think it's predominantly upper class whites now, and probably with a smattering of, well, there are other, like, I do like that about Tubman. There are people from the west side and, you know, people from all over the world that come there. It's a pretty nice mix of people. We got Hispanics, blacks, whites, Middle Easterners. We have a little bit of everything. It's really nice. I do like the makeup of that school. And it's hard because we don't get funded because of the neighborhood, because the neighborhood's a rich neighborhood, but the kids who go to the school come from the west side or from the other neighborhoods who are predominantly poor, you know, or underserved or whatever. So,
Did you, when I went to Lakeview, there was a lot of Asian kids, mainly Japanese.
We had a
and
few.
Filipino.
We only had 2 black people when I went to Lakeview, 1 boy and 1 girl. That was it. I had no black people in grammar school, mostly Hispanic and white. But yeah, I didn't get exposed to any black people till
But no
going
Asian?
some Asians, probably, you know, not as many as nowadays, but they probably would have been the next, like, white, Hispanic, Asians. And then
Did you know any people who lived in Lathrop homes when you were in high school?
I did, but I only knew white people that lived there and through a neighbor of mine, so like
Well-
nobody really close. But I used to go hang out there and play along the river there.
When it was first built, it was only 4 white people, and it was only after the war, World War II,
Right.
that it started to integrate a little bit.
I remember like when I lived in Lakeview and then my mom worked at the Merchandise Mart, and how we used to, like, Sheffield Avenue had a bus and Southport had a bus and that, and the route was to go through the Cabrini Green projects if you wanted to get downtown, and that was like really my only exposure to people of color. It's like you saw them from like Cabrini Green to downtown.
I think Sheffield, the Sheffield bus is still going, actually.
The Sheffield bus hasn't run for years.
No?
Oh
I
no.
thought it was.
The Lincoln Avenue bus doesn't even run
No,
anymore. It
never
goes
Lincoln
from
Avenue bus.
and-
Okay. So, okay, well, you already kind of did this. You talked about how you thought RUA helped you grow as a person and, how RUA helped you grow as a person and opened up some new doors to you personally, to
right.
meet different kinds of people, etc.
It's like a community of people, though. It was like really like I felt like it was the epitome of it takes a village to raise a child that like everybody was raising everybody else, and supporting people, and people were living together and like cooking together and gardening was going on, and there were so many like people and things that I learned so many different things. Like I learned stuff from Nori and I learned stuff from this person. And then nowadays I'm like, God, I wish I paid a little more attention to the things that they were teaching me back in the day.
So, okay.
But I think, yeah, I learned how to like be a healthier eater and just like that's carried me over to all my life. And
so when you stopped being involved with RUA, Sharon, what did you do? What paths, where did your life take you?
well, I
The
think my
different
life
things
kind
you've
of
done?
still intermingled because by then I think a lot of people were getting married and having families of their own and spreading out a little bit more. And
So what did you do?
oh, but what I did is I pretty much stayed in the neighborhood. And I did daycare. I ran a play group of my own, but then I ran a play group with another woman, and then I did another home daycare. Plus, I worked at a drop-in center that a couple of the other women from Rising Up Angry also worked at, where you could drop your kids off, but you can't leave the building. But it was like give moms space. Like the kids stayed in one room, and the moms could hang out and go to classes in the other room. And yeah, mostly I did daycare. I worked in a daycare center as a 2-year-old teacher for 5 years.
Did you have any children of your own?
I have 4 children of my own. I have 2 sons and 2 daughters.
And how old are they now?
Don't quote me. I'm going to say 45, 41, 33, and 35. And I have 3 grandchildren, 12, 11, and 6.
And they all go to school in the neighborhood now?
No, only my granddaughter and my oldest daughter, Nicole, actually still live in Chicago. So my son Felix lives in Virginia with his son, and my daughter lives in California. She went out there to get her degree in social work. And then my youngest son went in the Marines and married somebody in North Carolina, and he lives there. So it's only one of my kids still here.
Okay. So when you were doing daycare, did you do anything else besides working with children? Did you work in any other kind of fields or anything else?
Well, I did some waitressing and stuff like that. And like I worked a full-time job, and then I sometimes worked a full-time job and a part-time job. So yes, I did do some work in that restaurant field. But
I was going to say, how do you feel about restaurant workers getting the minimum wage now?
well, that's just ridiculous.
What's
minimum? Well, minimum wage is great, but that's not minimum wage that meets your cost of living.
Right,
so wow,
right,
you
right,
get
right.
$15. All of a sudden, you're going to make $15, and you need to make $30 an hour to like
So
pay your
you're
rent.
just saying the minimum wage is ridiculously low. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that they should be more like unionized. I think that like working with like Starbucks and that all the different places like that are becoming unionized. I pretty much think everybody should be unionized, and definitely daycare workers because they're definitely on the lower paid end. And that was part of our problem about having like a daycare where we were providing daycare for children because we didn't like set up like okay like we had to eventually set up schedules and like okay a contract because you got to pay us if you take a vacation because all of a sudden 6 kids in our group are all on summer vacation and we're not making any money so we had to readjust things over the years and paid holidays and different things so yeah I think it's really important for people to make at least minimum wage no matter what field you're in. But I think that's why I stayed active in Zoe's school too, because it's nice to know what's going on in the school system. And I volunteer like whatever events they have that I can volunteer. So nice.
Speaking of places with unions, didn't you work at Whole Foods?
I did,
Uh-huh.
but we were unionized then.
Oh, really? No, you weren't unionized.
I don't think so. No, I don't remember that part. No,
I don't think they are now either.
because I went from being, because Sally got me the job. She made me go get the interview and got it on my own. But so Sally Biaggi. So I started out as a bagger. Then I went to a cashier. Then I worked in the specialty department. But then I became a shift manager. So I would work sometimes a double and like open up as a cheese person and close as a store shifty. So, and then I left the local North Avenue store and I went to Evanston. I didn't like the Evanston
this
store.
was before Amazon, right?
This is what?
Before Amazon. Before Amazon took over.
Oh yeah, Amazon owns them. Yeah, that's way
Way before. Okay.
Back then they had like some decent like things like stock shares and different benefits that they had when I first started, but then they started taking all those things away, like stock options and I don't remember what all, but yeah, they weren't unionized back then.
Well,
and Amazon was not in the picture for sure. The original owners were. But I actually like working for Whole Foods.
What's good about it?
Well, the whole nutrition thing for sure. And then they used to have a thing where employees could get, but they started taking advantage of it. So they bruised and that you could get for like 25 cents. To like do your shopping at Whole Foods for sure. You couldn't do it as a regular person going in, but yeah.
Did they offer any perks? Like a way to go to college or?
I don't remember that. I remember that we were able to give like our benefit hours, like if we had like overtime hours or benefit hours, that if something happened to an employee, had some kind of disaster in their life, you could take your benefit hours and give it to them. But I don't remember any like really perks. I mean, if you worked hard in that, you were able to really like move up and move up fast, and there was a lot of like, what do you call them, like workshops and training things so that you could be trained in a lot of different areas. So
how much better was it for managers? Didn't Sally work into a?
Oh yeah, she was my manager, and but I think she got like stock shares and different stuff like that. I think just regular people don't. I think like one thing that was good about it in the beginning was like 30 hours was considered full time. And then when they changed that, if you were already in the system one way, like you grandfathered over, but I can't really I don't think of a lot of perks.
So let me just change because we'll wind it down now. So it sounds like you met a lot of people in Rising Up Amy, Sharon, and it also sounds like you continue to have relationships with some of those people,
A
right?
lot of
Over the
them,
years,
yes.
that you're still friends with people, and they've been lasting relationships in your life.
Yes, definitely. I just got an invitation to Diane's 80th birthday. It's crazy.
I didn't get one.
Ah.
Yeah.
But no, it's what I'm saying. But that's like what I like when I say, "Oh, why do you want to interview me?" Because I'm probably one of the least involved people. And what I love about the people that I met back then and that are still around today is that you all are still doing the work. You know, it just doesn't stop. I remember running into Michael James at a woman's rally years ago, a few years back now, and he's like, "Can you believe we're still fighting this shit?" And it's kind of like the same thing. Like you got to, because if we don't fight and keep fighting, then we already lost.
So, okay, so we'll close it up now, but before we do, is there anything that you learned that you might want to share with young people today? Anything that you learned back then and over the years that you think you might want to share with young people, like a lesson?
That it's important to be involved. It's important to get out and vote. It's important to do whatever you can do, because I feel like if we're all working together and we keep working together, that eventually we're going to win. But the only way they can keep their power is to make us think that we don't have any power. So if we start understanding that we have more power than we think, and people start working together, that maybe we'll get better results than happening.
Okay, well, thanks, Sharon.
Could I ask one more thing?
Yes.
You said that the thing that you really remembered from working in the healthcare was to advocate, to have an advocate or to advocate for yourself. Did that move to any other place in your life?
Well, right now, because I'm like having so many issues with my health in so many areas, that I feel like, I don't know if it's a woman's thing or just a doctor thing or what, but like if you go in with a list of complaints, they only hear the first 2 or 3 that you tell them. So then they just put everything out. So I have found that like every doctor I see, I have one issue and everyone hears about it. And finally, I'm getting people that are hearing me. It's not the people that I think are going to hear me and react. It's like other doctors that are listening and hearing what I'm saying. And it's like, okay, we're going to get you this test, or we're going to do this, or, you know, I just feel like, yeah, it's just made me stronger to be like, I don't go in there and wait. Like I went in today and they wanted me to take a medicine because I'm starting to get osteoporosis, and I'm like, nope, I'm not taking it. So that's like one thing that I've learned, because back in the day I was just like, oh, you take this pill, the doctor said so. But no, it's like, no, I'm not going to take this. And if we can revisit it at a later time, or if you can think of a different thing, but just standing up for myself and not letting go. So slowly, by little steps, I'm getting things taken care of. But it's like the first time that I really am feeling heard, you know, like I have a pain doctor and he's like, oh, I'm going to send you to a neurologist. I'm going to do this, you know. He's actually like did referrals and stuff for me that my primary doctors haven't done. So I just kind of learned more like to advocate for myself and for my kids. And
good skill, a great skill, and I'm glad that that you think that you learned that from being involved in Rising.
Oh, definitely.
All right, Sharon, thank you.
Oh,
this has
sorry,
been great.
kind of
Do you have
bored,
anything else you want to say?
No.
Okay. And
Thanks for taking the time.
We'll close it up now. So can you stop recording, Peter?
Sure. Well, I was gonna maybe in conversation we'll say something interesting. Or do you want me to?
No, you should stop recording.